To kick off Star Wars Celebration on Sunday, EA released the final trailer for the upcoming Star Wars game, Jedi Survivor, so here I'll be continuing my coverage of Star Wars Celebration with that footage. I'll be covering everything we learned from Star Wars Celebration this weekend, both with individual videos and an overall summary of everything later next week, so stay tuned for all of that. Overall, the tone of the trailer is very similar to the other ones. Cal and the crew are fighting the Empire, and it's a dark time for everyone. The game releases in less than a month, but for some reason, I just don't find myself all that excited for it anymore. It may just be because there are other things I'm looking forward to more, or I just know that I won't be able to play it for a while anyway, since I don't have a PlayStation 5, and I'm not a huge gamer anyway really. I've been playing through Fallen Order to get the story down, and it's a solid game, but there hasn't been anything that grabs my attention and makes me want to play through it all in a single sitting. Hopefully Jedi Survivor is different for me whenever I get around to playing it. But based on what I've seen from the game, it still looks amazing. There's going to be a lot of new techniques, customization options, and abilities to keep the story feeling fresh and unique. It's hard with something like this to differentiate between what will appear in the game and what was just made for the trailer, but everything in it looks great. It starts off with Cal fighting against a sandstorm on a red planet, which may be from some part of the planet Kobo. Otherwise, Geonosis seems like the most likely option when it comes to already known planets. There's a quick action clip, and then we see Cal running on a rocky desert world, which may be the same one as earlier. It's still unsure if it is Kobo, but it does look more in line with what we've already seen from the planet than the opening clip. The mountainside also has engraved markings on it, so whatever the planet is, there's some kind of built-in temple or ancient structure in the mountain. We have a voiceover from Seer, and a quick look at her new appearance for the game, and I'm interested in seeing what exactly she's been up to and what prompted her to make this shift in her beliefs. There were some hints in Jedi battle scars, but nothing from what I remember that would have led her to become this sage of sorts. Next, we see Cal fighting scout troopers on Coruscant, seemingly confirming that this planet will be one of the many new planets available for players to explore in the new game. I do wonder what parts of the planet will be opening for players, whether it's just the underworld or if we can go back up to the surface in the Federal District to see the Senate building and Jedi Temple. But either way, it'll be neat to explore the planet ourselves. There's an extended clip of BD-1 and Cal on Kobo, as BD attempts to scan a gigantic creature, and I do hope this creature appears in the game. I doubt we'd be able to do anything with it, but I think it would be cool to have that grand mass looming over the landscape. The clip also reveals that BD-1 will have some sort of jet boost, for lack of a better name, where he can slow his fall, hover, and probably fly too. This will probably be one of the many upgrades that BD-1 will continue to receive from the player throughout the game, and it does allow for new opportunities in the game itself. Cal is next seen fighting the Empire near a burning village, and then he has a hologram of someone that's hard to make out. It may be the other man we see helping Cal, Bode I believe his name is, and this is part of the lead up where they meet each other, or more than likely, it's someone we've never seen. The next bit of action is Cal wrestling with a trooper on a speeder bike, which does excite me for this. I think the ability to ride speeders in the game will not only speed up certain moments, rather than having to run across planets, but it'll make for some new and exciting action. Cal then tosses the trooper up in front of the incoming TIE, which honestly to me seems a little dark, and that would be an interesting story point. During the voiceover, Seer is talking about not telling Cal who he must become, and I think it would make sense somewhat if he struggles with the dark side at this point, especially since this may be the second game as a part of this trilogy, and the second installment always tends to be a little darker than the others. We then get a close-up on Cal in front of the Coruscant skyline, and the following clip is a patrol gunship headed to the Imperial Palace. I wasn't able to find any interior look at the gunship that would connect the two clips together, but based on what we see here, it's a possibility that Cal is captured at some point and brought to the Imperial Palace, which I would actually love, since it means we get to see more of Coruscant and the Jedi Temple during the reign of the Empire. We get another look at Marin's new design for the game, and interesting enough, it's Grease and Bode in the cockpit of the Mantis. Bode seems like he'll become an integral part of the team, which fits with them taking on those in need. We see some kind of new droid design on Kobo, and then get what has probably been our best look at Bode as he stands beside Cal. We learn that one of the new creatures we'll encounter is a Rancor, which I do look forward to, and then Cal is back on that reddish desert planet. We get a better look at it here, and I think it definitely is one we haven't been to before in the game. It definitely isn't Kobo, it may be Geonosis, which I'm kind of hoping for because then we can dive into the Death Star's creation and what the Empire did to the Geonosian population. We then see Cal and Marin working together, first in combat to take on a KX security droid, and then using the Force and magic to do something? I'm not quite sure what's going on here in this one. We get to see more of Ravis, who, if you're unaware, is a Jedi, a species that is nearly invincible. He's going to be very difficult to defeat, probably on par with Terran Malicos from the first game, and we get to see some of that here. We already knew that we would get to see battle droids in the game, but next we get a look at droidicas, and it looks like we'll get to explore a Lucrehulk battleship as well, which may be connected to Kobo, since we know there was a separatist presence there. We get to see the as of yet unnamed villain of the game using the Force a bit, and then we see Cal dueling someone, both of them using double-bladed lightsabers. It's hard to tell exactly who this is, since they look to be nearly identical to Cal in size and wardrobe other than the helmet masking their face. Based on the setting though, it looks like it'll be more of a training exercise than actual combat, so it may be either Seer or Marin. And then a few short action clips round out the trailer. Like I said earlier, this game looks amazing, and seems to offer a lot of new abilities in both lightsaber combat and the Force, planets to discover, enemies to fight, but at the end of the day, I just don't know how excited I can get for the game, knowing it'll basically cost me a few $100s, since I need the console as well. And as of right now, this game would be the only reason I get it. Let me know how excited you are for this game in the comments below. Remember to like the video, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and check out all of my other coverage of Star Wars Celebration this weekend. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.